Okay, good.
Oh, so I have to say got it again?
No, I think it just took
Okay.
it again. So I'm fine. We're fine.
Do we have to push anything, Ellen?
I don't think if it's not giving you anything, no.
No, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So what I was saying, we're on then.
Yes.
Ellen. So then what we're saying today, since it's the five of us, I would like, if it's possible, go through the first section and go through all the movements of the first section and assist us to understand what is that you're getting in the practice through the practice of that movement, and what is that you are resetting in the union of the whole system of the body. So the fabric, which is the matrix of balance, and the center of the tree of life, can become more and more unified with our sense of self, especially as you understand that the unification is actually the union between our mental, emotional, and physical sense of self. So then where we, in the practice, as we understand what is occurring through the emotions and reconnect to all the different connections that exist inside of the movements and the path, those three senses of the self are going to unite naturally. It's not something that you have to do. They are synchronized within themselves, and then you get to be the recipient of that experience in every single moment in your daily life, and you decided what that is for you, how it comes. But it's important to understand that you are in the unification of yourself, transforming everything in your life. Yeah. So then I'm going to change the chair back, and then I'm going to create a little bit distance. And I don't know if you would like to practice the movements as I tell you what it is that we're doing. So we're going to work in the chair. So then, but you don't have to. You can also, if you want to, have enough space and just listen to it, because then you will have the video and you can go through and remember what is each connection doing, each path is doing, and so forth. Yeah, I'm going to move my chair back and I'll be with you. Thank you. I am in the center of the screen. Not really, no?
Yeah, that's pretty good. If you want to, you can bring the camera down just a little bit. I don't know if you have time, if you can do that.
Okay. It's too much?
Yeah, it's a little much, but maybe between those two.
I love it. Okay.
It's good. It's getting the right, balance.
Is that okay?
Down a little bit. That's good. Yeah, right there. Good.
Okay. I'm not in the center of the screen.
No, but you're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, can move there. Okay.
Why not? You're not going to see my feet, but you know the placement of the feet, and you know the placements of everything, more or less.
Now they're there.
Yeah, are you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So you know then that the first representation is 0 point, and also, as you know, 0 point, it will take like a whole session from you, and you have them in the Zooms to define all the different relationships of centering that involves in 0 point. Because remember that we always say the 0 point is the beginning and the end of the study, of the practice. So it's the beginning because we get to refine and define the relationship of centering, and then the completion of the practice, because as everything becomes naturally connected within you, it becomes second nature, and it becomes you, not as a preparation for motion, but the actual motion of you as well, your actual self. Yeah. So then we know, just to go briefly, that there are 3 triads: the center of the head connecting to the crown, right and left of the head connecting to the crown, the right and left of the arms connecting to the center of your chest at the heart, the right and the left is the center of the shoulder girdle. Yeah. Then the 3rd triad is the right and the left in the pelvis, connecting via the legs to the ground. And then the the fourth dimension, which is the natural release of the throat, extending the neck. And then the seventh dimension, the solar plexus, interconnecting arms, pelvis, and legs and head into one system. Yeah. And then you have 0 point as being given or receiving if you want to. And then giving, you can practice by putting your hands on the floor, right? You know, in this connection, that what you determine in your definition of self is that your shoulders are not forward, are not back, are gently via the elbows, the wrists, and the hands, defining the center of the chest, which is the center of your heart. So then if you go into the receiving, the center of the palm of your hand is in 0 point right here. And then we'll start with the first movement, which is and from here will be the inflowing wave. Yes, because remember that in the last class, we said if we are in 0 point standing, we gather the wave. And here we are already in the beginning of the inflowing wave. Yeah, beautiful. So the inflowing wave, it assists you to begin to create a spiral, then bring you to the center of the solar plexus, to the center of balance, solar plexus, and then ascending to foundation, and then which go to the 4 counts that it take us to ground. And then we go again, the sphere of earth, inflowing wave, suspended wave, foundation, outflowing wave, and crown. Again, the sphere of earth, inflowing wave, suspended balance, foundation, outflowing wave, and crown. We'll continue doing it. The sphere of earth, inflowing wave, suspended wave, descending, ascending, 1, 2, 3, and 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We come back to 0 point, very gently, flowing with, and come back to 0 point. So in this practice, your practice, you know that in the practice, the first movement, it takes you to the vertical extension of yourself. Yeah. So if you start in 0 point, there are 2 ways that you can start in 0 point, and it's important to understand it. One in which you are slightly in the inner arc, which is the inner arc of 0 point, where your hands are resting or placed in the center of your hand at the level of the union of the heart. And the other one, if you are already in 0 point at definition as being in the natural extension of your being. Yeah, so there are two ways. One is in which you are directing your eyes in the center of the extension of your spine in the inner sense of 0 point. And the other one is when you are in pure vertical extension. Yeah, if you are in the pure vertical extension, the inflowing wave already have you there because you are already in the vertical extension and you're arriving to suspended wave. And then descending, ascending is take you to foundation. And then from foundation, you go pelvic floor, pelvis, solar plexus, chest, throat, head, crown. And we go again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 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 We come back to 0 point. Release for a moment. Come back again. And now, if I am in an inner arc, then my range, my eyes and are directed into the plane, into the lower plane of foundation. If you completed an outer arc and the vertical, pure vertical extension, you are truly extended in it. Yeah. So then, are you clear in this? What's the difference between the inner arc when your inner sense is in the center of foundation, or the vertical extension when you're already placed in the natural extension that meets gravity and expansion as the center of space?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that clear, or is it confusing with this information? It's clear, Carolina, what I'm saying? Okay, the two directions. Well, you know that if you are in the vertical extension, you're already there. So you're already bringing the energy to suspended wave. You're descending to foundation, and then from foundation, you have 4 counts to go crown. You're clear with that, right? Now, if you are in the inner sense of 0 point, you're going to bring, as you start the wave, you're bringing yourself to the vertical extension, which will be 0 point balance, right? Suspended wave, foundation, outflowing wave, and crown. Beautiful. And then they'll come back again one more time, just release for a moment. You can let the energy at any one moment. If you feel like the energy gets accumulated by defining, just letting it go, and then come back to 0 point. So are we clear in this practice that there is an inner sense, which is exactly in the inner arc, when your energy is really directed to the dimension of pelvis and legs, the physical foundation of 0 point. And then you have the vertical extension, which is already defined in a 0 point. If you are already defined in a 0 point, all you have to do is just to bring the energy to suspended wave, and then you're ready to go foundation and go to ground. If you are not, if you are in the inner definition of the lower centers, you bringing yourself to the vertical extension through the wave, you are arriving to suspended balance, you are arriving to foundation, and you complete yourself and ground. Yeah? Wonderful.
Christian,
Yeah.
you would you say that you would come to this inner place?
Yeah. It's in a slightly inner arc.
Yeah, but why? I mean, in which movement are you saying that you will come there?
You can.
I mean, are you just saying that when you are here, that you're, but say which movements you're going to go to this inner placement with?
An inner placement, if you start, you have 2 possibilities of starting the practice. Just very gently in the inner sense of inner arc, in which you're basing your sensation in your legs and the pelvis,
Okay.
or in the vertical extension when you're already in the center of a space.
Okay, thank you.
So you can define either or.
Okay, great.
Whatever it is comfortable for you. Because once you define yourself in the vertical extension, your mind is already at work because you are consciously defining 0 point.
Great.
Of course, you're also consciously defining where you are in the physical definition of the grounding of the pelvis and legs. But this is almost like a more natural place because you are sensing yourself from your innermost center, that it becomes defined and externally connected completely through the vertical extension.
Great.
So it will be a little bit like seeing like deity, remember deity?
Right.
You are not draw in it, but you are involved in the full energetic sensation of your being, as opposed to the vertical extension, with the vertical sensation of your being embraces everything that surrounds you, and you are at the center definition of the center of space.
Right.
Is that clear? Those 2 possibilities? You have those. You forget the second one as the confusion, just starting 0 point vertical extension. But in the vertical extension, your mind is at work because your mind is defining what the centering is. Yeah. You are not going to try to define 0 point balance if you are really in a place of not connection, because if you're trying to define it, you're going to go backwards. Mm-hmm. So the definition of 0 point already involved an understanding and a little bit comprehension of the definition of the centering that assists you to go to 0-point balance.
Great.
Are we clear with that? Yeah. Remember the 0-point balance at the beginning and the end of the study. So that's the reason a little bit complex, but it's not. Okay, so in the first movement, you're learning then to define 0 point and an inner sense or at the outer sense balance, which is your inner and the outer are simultaneous and the center of the sphere, the center of the space. Yeah, so that's important to understand that. Yeah. Then when we start the movement, the inflowing waves, if you started from 0 point, you are already there and you are arriving to suspended wave. And then descending, ascending, it will take you to foundation, and foundation will take you into 4 counts to crown. Yeah. So then a sphere of earth, let's do it one more time. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are into 0 point for a moment. We come back, you're arriving, you are there in 0 point. When you're coming back, you can be back to the inner sense of 0 point if you want to, yeah? To rest for a few seconds, then if you go to 0 point, you know, you have to get to the vertical extension. This practice, you can practice as long as you want to because you're learning consciously to go from foundation, which is the inner arc, and the 4 counts of the arm to take you through the 7 centers, so you're arriving in crown. It is a fantastic, and then the sphere of earth take you to the inflowing wave, it take you to the vertical extension, you're descending, ascending to foundation, and you go to outflowing wave and crown. Yeah, and then if you come back to 0 point, you're already in that place. Okay, wonderful. I don't know why did I started in 0 point, because in reality I should have started in the fountain of life. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You know that the definition of 0 point is the movement that follows the fountain of life. Yeah. Am I confusing you? No.
No.
No. All right. Wonderful. Remember that in the last week we said that if you start the fountain of life, you start the left and the right. They are already in 0 point. They are already part of the fountain. Yeah. Exactly. So that's what you're practicing constantly. When you are in 0 point, you are already in the beginning of the fountain. Take you to God's heart, take you to central ground, taking you around to the sphere, to the communion of the heart, taking you out to central ground, taking you out to self, taking you out to 0 point balance, and so forth. And then if you're in 0 point balance, that's where you begin the way. Yeah. So shall we practice that for a moment? I'm sorry that I started in the second movement to confusion, but let's start from 0 point from here in the fountain. Yeah, the fountain. So we go in gently. Remember that through the practice, as you become more and more acquainted with the energy of the practice, you're going to be able to sense the floor a little bit different, and you're going to be able to sense the pelvis, bones. So adjust if you need to. If you sense that you are not at the center of the breastbone of the seated bones, you are not at the center of your arches, and so forth. So let's do the fountain then. You starting with the right arm, and I starting with the left arm. Okay, to mirror each other. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0.8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I come back very gently, if I am in the chair, I come back to 0 point. And here I am in the place that I'm starting. Okay, so in this particular movement now, when you start, we practice standing or we practice seated, right? When you start the motion, as you are in 0 point, you're already in the beginning of the fountain. Yeah, and the beginning of the fountain already demands a little bit that the torso rotates, and the torso rotates to take you to central, to moving hard, to take you to central crown, and then to take you to circling a spiral, and then it'll take you back to central crown, it take you up to self, and it take you up descending, ascending, and that will be, if it is one set only, it will take you back into 0 point balance. Ready to go to the next one. Okay, so what I want you to sense now, that in the practice, and here, you're starting the fountain, and the torso changes into the direction that you're defining. So it's not that the torso exactly. Beautiful. Let me just get it. Be comfortable. You need to sit back for a moment just to I don't know. I needed to get a little closer so you can see what it is that I'm meaning. If you start the fountain, okay. If you start the fountain from 0 point, the torso goes slightly into a little inner arc to give you direction around, and it give you direction around to take you into central crown. So the torso doesn't stay in vertical extension and you're moving your arms, but your entire rib cage opens, and your entire rib cage opens to take you to moving heart. So that's what you're refining in that particular movement. The relationship of your torso is starting the fountain to take you into, yeah? Right there, right there, and the other arm, beautiful, right there. So what you're learning is what moment the head, the three centers from above, and the three centers relate to each arm as you're moving. So you're synchronizing the left and the right, and the upper centers connect you to central heart, to moving heart, and to central crown. So that's what you're refining, this connection in you to assist your heart to be connected to the movement. So it's a little bit like a swinging very gently. So this is something that you can practice by yourself, because you go from the 0 point to 0 point in order to go to one side and then to the other side, and then connect you to central heart. So
Christy, is this like part, just off the top of my head, so it kind of has a diagonal, three-dimensional diagonal feel a little bit?
A little tiny bit, but you have to be careful that the diagonal doesn't press you back. So
right.
It's that extend you from the pelvis as you're opening, so it doesn't all of a sudden press you into.
Okay.
So there's no pressure in the connection.
Okay.
So then pressure will look like you're going down to go up. So because when you start in 0 point and you start in the beginning of the fountain, either if you are standing or you are seated, you are already coming from the pelvis to go to the fountain.
Yeah.
So it's not that the arms are moving by themselves, they are moving from the point of reference of the pelvis. Yeah. So let me see, Lois, how would you start the fountain from there? Let me see. How, Jeffrey? Beautiful, and beautiful right there, and then exactly, perfect, wonderful, much better. Do it again with the other arm now, just from that connection, Lois, when you start the fountain. 1, 2, 3, and wonderful. Okay, that's beautiful. That's great. That's great. Okay, so are we clear a little bit about the torso, what it is? Okay. Ellen, good, good. Yeah. So, Ellen, there is a moment that the asymmetrical movement becomes symmetrical at the just as you get in, just before you get into at the level of expansion, and you get into central to moving heart. So that is the point that you become fully, a little bit before fully symmetrical. 1, 2, and 3. That's the point in which you, just before you start to get into this is the central ground that is taking you around into the level of moving heart, and it's taking you out. Yes. So what you're looking for, because this is expansion. Okay, let me just for a moment. I need to go a little bit back to assist you to understand. The level of expansion is actually the level of the heart, the center of the heart. Yeah. Now, since I'm not going to expansion because I'm going asymmetrical, and I go a little bit up, like maybe 3 inches above expansion. That moment of expansion is the perfect center of symmetry from which the throat is open, assisting me to experience the head and the crown that it take me to central crown. So moving heart is a very specific place because it represents
God's heart.
God's heart, excuse me. Thank you, Carolina. God's heart is a very specific place because it's the place in which you start going into the diamond, but also the place in which the center of the throat interconnect freely into the expansion, into the 3 senses of expansion. 2, and right there, beautiful, right there, Lois. So make sure that 1, 2, 3, and that would be like a count, and 3, and 4, 5. That and is totally clear in you because it's the place that allow your arms then to go to suspend the diamond to central crown. Yeah, right there, Carolina, right there. Yeah, beautiful. So then what you're looking for there is that from the fountain, there's a moment that you become truly symmetrical at the level of the throat before you start going into the diamond. Very important. Yeah, so far so good. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the fountain again together, and let's just clarify the asymmetrical nature of the beginning of the movement, the moment of symmetry, the moment to go into central crown, the encircling the diamond to moving heart, expanding from the pelvic floor back to central crown, returning back to self in order to descend and ascend to 0-point balance in order to start the fountain again. So can we do it together now? Let's do the fountain for a moment together. Okay, I'm going to move myself back for a moment. So. Okay, let's start very gently. I need to place myself for a moment because I need to find the center of the pelvis. Right there, here we are. Wonderful. So we're starting the fountain from 0 point. 6, 7, and 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Last time, 7 and 8. This is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and from 0 point, if I gather the wave, I can come back very gently to the place that I started. How was that? It required a little bit of practice because you have to time it to your own time in order to make sure that at free and you are in the center extension of your throat, yeah, which is a different place. The throat is extended in order to take you to central crown. Beautiful.
God's
Then,
heart.
yes, Carolina. Your question, Carolina?
No, in order to take you to God's heart, right?
God's heart. I'm sorry. God's heart, right here. Yeah. So it's a full extension. You have to make sure in here that you are not seated in God's heart, that you are connecting to the external relationship of God's heart, right there. And that is where the diamond comes into being. Yeah. Beautiful.
That seems a little wider to me.
Wider? Yes.
It's a little wider than I've been doing it, right?
Yes, because what you've been doing that you thinking the God's heart is in here, right? But look, God's heart is really, it encompasses the totality of your neck, the head, and the crown, and that is easy to get to the central crown. Then, yeah, I think that Ellen, for you too, that it was a moment that a little bit that central God's heart. Yeah. Okay. So let's clarify. What happens is that when you get to the fountain, right, you continue extending as you go to the right and you go to the left and you keep extending, and you get to central crown.
God's heart.
God's heart. Excuse me. The time you get to God's heart, you're fully extended in your arms. You are not in between. And that will become the central, taking to central crown.
Okay.
You can come back into
From that. Okay. So that you're moving through the what is this? The forearm? I mean, the whatever this is. Yeah.
You're moving through the entire polarity.
Yeah.
You're getting to the maximum place. God's heart is the same extension gently to the external direction of space that expansion has and that infinity has. It's a full extension of your being arriving exactly right there, and that's what the diamond starts. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, beautiful. Because if you're in between and God's heart, you have to sit in yourself to go to the diamond. Right. But once you are extended, the whole torso take you back into central crown.
Right, much easier.
Much better. Yeah. Thank you.
That direction. Yes. Okay, so that's what you're discovering. In this movement, when you discover, beautiful. Yeah, right there, fantastic, Carolina, right there. So now, but I want you to make sure that once you get to moving heart, right?
God's heart.
When you get to God, get to move God heart, that you don't sit in your shoulders because you're going to the diamond. That you keep very gently extending through the diamond and the joint to get you to central heart. Because it's a tendency that once you start from moving from God's heart, you're gonna go in to suspend the diamond.
No, God, it's central crown. That's okay.
You're connecting around through the totality of the movement. Exactly, right there. Much better. So let me clarify for a second that connection, okay? Let me clarify. You're doing perfect, but I need to clarify. Remember that in central crown, when you're going into the spiral that is taking you to moving heart, it's a full circle of your shoulders around in your heart to open your heart that we did last week. Yeah, the same is here from God's heart. As you move into take you to central heart, to crown heart, is central crown. The full release of your entire shoulders and your neck that is taking you to central crown. Exactly. So your entire shoulder rotate around the back of your spine almost to get you to the full extension of your torso, Lois. That's good. That's good. Yes. So the idea is that from here, you are not just going to your arms and go there. You're going to extend through the totality of your torso to take you to central crown, from which then you can begin to create a spiral to get you to moving heart. Yes, there's Carolina. So engage the back of those muscles here, completely different because you are engaging when you go around. You just don't rest in your spine to bring your arms up. You are engaging from your feet, actually, all the muscles of your upper torso to take you back into moving heart. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's how is that, Carolina? Different a little bit?
Oh, now I can get to central crown. Before, it was always kind of like a mystery how you get from God's heart to central crown.
Yeah.
And now, once we're in God's heart fully, then it's
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want you to think that when you get to God's heart, that you don't converge into your spine. You divide very gently the two halves of your spine through the back and the front into the diamond that is going to take you to central crown. So it is in a full engagement of the two halves of your torso. That is exactly, Isabel, that was the idea. That's the idea. That's the idea. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Let me see Carolina from there. Exact, right there. Wonderful. You're doing it with your arms right now. So now, once you get with your arms, that you understand that you're going around, then immediately becomes the neck, the head, the crown, and that's the reason it's called central crown, because you have the connection, full connection of your head at the center of the atlas, and then the extension of the equilibrium in the head that is going to take you into the connection of.
It's almost like when you get to God's heart and you're in that extension, it's more extension to get you up and around to central crown. I used to think it was bringing it in, but it's more extension that brings you around to that central crown.
Exactly. Especially because when you are in moving heart, you get to extend the neck, right? You get to extend the neck completely, right? The neck, right here, the center of your front. And then through the continual extension that it take you to central crown, you're going to get to the head, and you're going to get to the third eye, and you're going to get to the crown. So that will be central crown. You're getting into the crown in order to start the spiral that gets you to moving heart.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. That's, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had the right and the left, but I hadn't gotten the vertical one yet. Oh my goodness, that's a much different feel.
Yeah. Beautiful. Carolina, that's wonderful. You're connecting the arms now. You're connecting the full extension of moving heart, getting into the connection of the front. But now what's going to happen once you get the connection to moving heart right here, the continuation of the natural extension getting you to central heart, to central crown, is the connection, the 2 inches that get you from the center of the throat to the jaw, to the center of your head, to the third eye, and to the crown. So by the time you're here, your entire neck is fully extended inside of the whole extension of your spine. Right there, better. So I should see almost like a cavity in your neck. There is a cavity in your neck that extends you up and down. It's connecting you, descending, ascending through the neck. Exactly. Right there. Exactly. And then it takes you from foundation again. Beautiful. When the moment comes, Lloyd, that you're taking from moving to moving heart, to moving heart to back into central crown, it's important now that you understand that you're moving from the pelvis, which is your connection to the knees and the floor. So you're moving from the pelvis all the way up through you again to get you to central crown. So from moving heart, the first impulse is going to be the pelvic floor and your legs and the ground. Not necessarily pressing down, but connecting. And then that connection creates all the distance up, all the way that it takes you back into. So it's a full vertical extension to every single center, taking you all the way to central crown. So let me see, for example, I want you to do this, Isabel. Let's say you're in vertical right now, in the vertical extension. Go from the vertical extension now to the extension from the pelvis and show me what it will become the vertical extension of your throat, the head, and the crown that correspond to central crown. So in other form, say you're here, right? So what I want you to do for me, just isolation for now, just to practice. I'm going to go to the head, I'm going to go to the chest, I'm going to go to the thread, I'm going to go to the head, I'm going to go to the third eye, and I'm going to go to central crown. So I'll ask you a lot because I'm asking you to extend all the upper areas that in reality correspond to the relationship to your arms here. But you can do them by themselves in order to develop the inner length of your being inside of you. So you can do it with your arms, of course, which is the synchronicity of the movement, but you can do it as natural, gently moving through the centers of yourself, and where you think that place will be at the center of the crown. So what place will be at the center of the crown for you, darling? If you can just thinking about, show me how when you get to central crown by the centers. So leave your arms where there is, go to the chest now. And now go to the throat, extend the throat up through you, and arc. Yeah, okay, I'm confusing you, know? I'm confusing. Look, it's all right, but here I am, here, right? And here where my arms here. Now I'm going to extend the chest. Yeah? And then I'm going to continue. I'm going to extend the throat. And then I'm going to continue. I'm going to extend exactly. And now I'm going to continue. I'm going to extend the center of the head. I'm going to continue. I'm going to extend the third eye. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to extend the crown. And then now, this is a connection of your arms too. So you need to, but this is the isolation of just the centers of themselves. See right here, that's the correspondence of the polarity, central crown and the diamond of your arms. But you can do them by themselves, by to pay attention just gently to describing them. You did it right now, right, Isabel? You know what I mean? I can't hear you.
Can't hear you, you're muted.
It's my hearing. I didn't know you were talking to me.
It's all right, Alina. It's all right.
I'm sorry, you're talking to a goat.
No, it's okay.
I have it muted so you don't have to listen to my clock.
But you did it. No, you did it. Even if you cannot hear me, what I'm asking you to do. Do you understand, Lois, too, what I'm asking to do? That you can just go through the centers by themselves without, it's artificial a little bit because the true connection will be that you correspond to that connection, of course. Every length of your spine correspond to a connection in the space of the center of your heart. If it is going to be natural movement, yeah. But if it's isolated, you can practice it still, but know that that's a good thing because you can just sense what it would be the sense of you extending inside of you without necessarily corresponding to the rest, but you can do it. Yeah, that's what happened. So are we clear to that then? So let's do together the fountain twice now, and let's integrate what you just learned me. This moving heart, the full extension of God's heart, then returning to central crown, which is the full extension of central crown, and then the encircling of the heart, the diamond to moving heart, and then the extension of every single center to moving heart. That is going to take you to the vertical extension of self. That is going to take you to the ascending into 0-point balance and turn in order to start the fountain. Shall we do it together? Yeah? All right, fantastic. I'm going. See. Beautiful. Lovely. 0-point balance. Wonderful. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 begets 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One last time. A pair. 1 begets 2. Symmetry and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the last one now. We'll do it together. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7. And now if I go very gently into 0 point, very gently, and go into it. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to move myself back very gently, going asymmetrical, bringing myself back into the chair. I'm going to bring myself back into the back of the chair. I'm going to bring myself resting. If I have a place in the chair that I can rest in a little bit, and I'm bringing myself to 0 point. Resting just for a second. One, just be for a moment. Be in the connection. Are you resting back a little bit? Beautiful. Wonderful. Your legs are good. You can cross your legs if you want to. Whatever it feels comfortable. This is the ultimate comfort for you. So anyway, be there for a second and let me go. So are we clear what we did today? Are we doing so far?
It's great, really, really great, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Christian,
Go ahead, Ali.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not clear. So you were, and I didn't know you were talking to me. You were talking about, once we're here, the throat, and then on up, up, up until you get, each point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I was asking, what I was asking you, to make it simple, I was asking you just gently to isolate, and isolate by mean leaving your arms very gently in the corresponding to 0 point, and then go from the center of your chest up into the throat, up into the head, up into the third eye, up into the central crown, only with the definition of the centers in you, to recognize there is a full extension of your entire self going from moving heart into central crown.
And so is that different from once you get to here?
From God's heart, it's not different. On the contrary, it's even more connected. But the problem is sometimes is that we innocently, when we get to moving heart, to God's heart, we just keep the centers where they are and just bring the arms up.
Okay.
So then we are not activating each of the centers through the motion that correspond to the diamond, getting you to central crown, and then bringing you to around to moving heart. So this understanding, this isolation, if you may, of going through the centers to take you all the way up by themselves, it will help you, because then you will notice, oh, I'm sitting into me to go to central crown. And now I don't supposed to get down into me. I've got to start engage every single vertebra to take me to central crown in order to create a circle that is getting me to moving heart. Yeah, you understand now a little bit?
That's very helpful. I like the word isolation.
Isolation, yes,
Yeah.
isolation. It's an exercise. This is just because what it makes an exercise to be an exercise, that you isolate the body in order to work it out. But in the unity in motion, we unify the body constantly to engage it all the way into its natural extension, internally and externally.
Right.
Internally through all the directions of your centering of your body, externally through your connection to a space that also correspond to the internal then. So you're unifying both the internal and the external at the same time.
Right.
The internal through the metrics, the external through the space, embracing the metrics to connect you into the unity of the movement. 3 dimension, inner and outer, simultaneous with itself. Yeah, exactly. That's it, Lois. That's the idea. You're getting, so it's a little bit more physical for you, Lois, more engaging right now, right? Yes, because what happens, the complexity is that in unity and motion, since we're going from natural movement, there is a tendency that you just become so soft that you're hanging in the movement. You're hanging in the softness of the movement instead of connecting through the movement, that it becomes then powerful because you are engaging every single aspect of your being into the unity of the motion itself. So it's a different thing. It's a non-exercise union, if you may, because the non-exercise is the naturalness of the movement. And if you're going to put it into the exercise, it will be that you're engaging everything. Yeah, you're engaging every single part of it. But not in exercise in order to say, okay, I'm going to extend my muscles, because if you may extend your muscles by contracting everything in your body.
Yeah.
And the extension it has a meaning, but it's not the actual balance. The balance is that you are connecting through everything, and then everything is like a bellows that extend constantly, uniting you as a whole system of motion. Yeah, so that's, yeah, we understand that clearly a little bit. Yeah, wonderful. We're clear. Wonderful. So then
It feels to me like a waking up of a certain presence that I wasn't maybe not aware of in the movement. So
yes.
to me, it's like my eyes opening up and really
Yes.
being with the.
Yes. Yeah. Are you okay? Comfortable? Are you clear? Comfortable? Because why? Listen, each of us have in our sense of self in a specific sense. Some of us are very soft. Some of us are very strong. Some of us are very tight. Some of us are very loose, and some are not. But once we begin to unify the movement, that part that we thought we were changes, because all of a sudden we are engaged in different aspects of ourselves that they were not dormant, if you may, but they were self-contained inside of its own interpretation. Self-contained inside of its own interpretation. Who knows? To trying to understand it, it will be very complex, because it could be, I was born with it, my family, my blah, 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 whatever. But once you begin to engage all aspects of your being, you get to discover places in yourself that they were potential, but they are now really coming into existence. And that is what allows the self in you, so to speak, in using word, to wake up, because you're becoming connected to the movement that is a little foreign to you, because in your temperament or the way interpretation of self has been a little bit different. Yeah, each of us have a different world inside of that. Yeah, so wonderful. That's okay, Carolina. That's what happened a little bit.
That's great. Yeah.
We all have it, but it's good to understand that, so we don't get afraid or say blah blah blah. No, you just the more you're connecting, the more the mind open, the more connect, and all that you're learning is just how to do it, how to connect to it. Okay, so are we clear with that? So wonderful. So yeah, go ahead, darling. So then now let me just clarify. So the fountain, what happened in the fountain, that you give in and you receive it, yeah, or the right begins the left, and then it becomes symmetrical in the moment it gets truly symmetrical in God's heart. God's heart is a fantastic thing, because it's the full extension of your being, but it interconnects the free centers above and the free centers below through the outer arc, that then even becomes even more connected as it brings you into central crown. So that's wonderful. Yeah, beautiful. So that's beautiful. Lovely. And then you come down through it, and then you're going through it, and you're going through it, and you're going through it, and you're going through it. Okay, you got it. Okay, now when you're coming back from central crown, right? Central crown. Okay, now I'm going to open from central crown and I'm going to extend, right? The extension of my arms as I'm extending and I'm descending to self is also a full extension of every single muscle that is going to get me to self. So exactly. So there will not be a moment that I'm offering the movement. I'm offering the movement. No, there is a moment that I am centralizing the movement from my heart. So you have to be careful that you are extending every single muscle, extending. Okay, beautiful. That's it, Carolina. Much better, much better. Let me clarify something that is very delicate to see. How am I going to say this? That is clear. When I'm extending the movement, I open from central crown, right? And I'm extending the movement. I went like maybe 2 or 3 inches extending because I'm connecting through the center of my heart, right? Through horizon. But then my arm keep extending as I'm descending. I'm extending through the entire connections of my arms to take me to self. So there is a part of you that I think that you are extending in this part and the rest you're descending. No, is that every single point you are extending through, passing through to arrive to self. So extending through the wrist into the fingers, into the arms, into right there to self. And then it's when you're extending through the fingers in order to go descend and ascend to get you to right there, Carolina. That's wonderful. So I think again, what happens that you innocently thought that once you're extending through central crown, you're resting upon the spine instead of finding every single vertebra that correspond to each point of extension that is going to take you to self.
No, I thought I was doing that. I didn't feel like I was thinking.
No, you are doing it, but there is a part of you that there is a certain moment that the movement begins to go down with you instead of being connecting to each point on the space through the passing through. So connected to each point, beautiful. Better. Let me see. It is very subtle what I need to explain. You're doing it, Carolina, but what you're doing is what I'm asking you to do in the practice is that when you're extending I can be here for an hour. And then the next one, as I adjust, I can be here for an hour. Because I'm not creating weight in the definition of the motion. I am suspending the motion through the natural extension as it brings me to self. Exactly. So then extending from it, and now stop there for a moment, and now just be there for a moment. Are you going down or extending through the movement?
I feel like I'm extending.
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm going down.
Okay, so can you be there for a while until you feel that you're totally supported by the extending? Okay, keep descending now. Keep descending from your fingers and your hands. You're right there. Wonderful. And then be there for a while. You're not inside, you have to be there for a while. Yeah, connect to the fingers and connect to the connection. The arms are supporting your heart and the three centers above from below. Beautiful. And then continue to self. Continue. And then descending, ascending, that is taking you to self. How was that? Was it a little bit different? Carolina?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you are. But I think that what I need to give you another idea to help you, okay?
Okay.
Let's say, for example, they have an infinity, right? And I'm going to open the mandala going through infinity. And every single point in the mandala is going to connect me in as I'm connecting out. And now I'm changing direction through self. It's going to connect me from outside in as I go out, connecting from outside in as I'm going out, connecting from outside in. So every single point is suspended by the connection to space.
Right.
So then what happens is when we tend to go from here and here, there is a moment that I yield to gravity and I lose the suspension. So what I need is to understand that as I'm opening, the external movement coming into me, it keeps me changing and keeps suspending me continuously to get me to self in order to our descending. Exactly. And then descending, ascending, and then descending, ascending. It's a little bit different now, the symbol that I'm giving you. Yeah.
Well, look and see.
Go from central crown and open it up. Yeah, and then the outer form connects you into the inner form. And the outer form connects you into the inner form. The outer form connects you into the inner form. The outer form through your arms connects you to the inner form until you get to the south, from which you're descending, ascending. Fantastic. Yeah. So it's perfect. It's now you're beginning to sense that this connection from the movement is actually what suspends your heart. Because you cannot suspend your heart. Only the connection from the outer and the in makes the heart to be suspended. Right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. Okay, how was that? Better?
Felt a little bit more suspended.
Suspended in it. The only complexity is that we know the horizontal plane, right? The horizontal plane. I say to you that when you are in the outer arc, the horizontal plane is a little bit larger, right? Because it's in here. When you are in central crown, the horizontal plane went this way, right? The horizontal plane of your head, the horizontal plane of your arms, the horizontal plane of your arms have changes. The plane have changed when you are there, right? So now, once you begin to open, you have to make the changes that correspond to the horizontal planes. So you are not creating weight through the movement, but you are being suspended by the relationship, the external relationship to the movement.
Yeah, I had a moment in there where I really felt completely connected, that it was doing me in a way. And I think it helped when you said about the heart, keeping the heart open.
Yes, absolutely, keeping the heart open. Ellen, am I saying the right words about all this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so then what I'm saying, let's say if I can show you from here for a moment, I'm central crown, right? I'm going to open it. And now I'm going to keep this arm, the left arm, connected through the center of the space, and I'm going to create weight. This one I'm creating weight. This one is connecting to space. This one I'm creating weight. If I'm creating weight, I'm losing the connection to the heart, because the shoulder girdle is immediately closest to the spine, and then my mind jumps into the mind, and then I'm doing the movement instead of being connected to the movement. Yeah. Right. So then that's what it does. It makes it. So what we're learning is that the planes that are entering a space determines that my suspension within each frame of the movement, in which space is helping me. Wonderful. Right there, right there. And now the change has to happen. The wrist and the hands have to go faster than the upper part of your arms. Exactly. There is a point when I open, right here. Now, my hands and my lower arms have to go to another level, connecting to bring me down. I can't just follow the same connection. Right. There have to be a dynamic engagement from the outer form to assist the inner form to be suspended. Exactly, right there, Carolina, right there. So
yeah, that helped when you said that.
Yes.
That this part of the arm has to keep moving.
Exactly, and it moves a little bit faster than the part of your arms, because it's shorten the distance from your heart to the shoulders as it is from your hands and the lower arms in relation to your heart.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So once you bring that understanding into the movement, everything will be a piece of cake, because the outer form of the movement is being supported by the different interrelationship of the segments, acknowledging the outer form of the movement coming to get you, to suspend you as the center of you, into the heart itself, into the center of gravity of you. Exactly. So eventually, all that you're going to do in the motion is just finding the planes of space that is a dynamic interrelationship between the longest part of you, the hand and the lower arm and the upper arm, all having their own changing interaction, if you may, in order not to stay still and just creating weight upon itself. Yeah, in order not to create weight, because it creates weight, immediately shatters the spine, shatters the connection between the vertebrae and the limbs. So the way to allow the limbs to suspend the vertebrae is to find the planes that you are connecting through it. The best connection, yes. Are you okay? Wonderful.
Thank you very much. I think,
Yeah, I think that you're learning. The best way to find that connection is also in the spherical mandala, in which each sphere changes your entire relations into your heart. So every single point in a space corresponds to your heart, and from the center of gravity going from the outer arc into vertical extension into the inner arc. The spherical mandala. Remember the spherical mandala? When that's another sphere. And now, when I open the sphere, I have to enter another plane of space. You see another plane of space, another plane of space, another plane of space, another plane of space, another plane of space. So the changing of myself in the planes of space is what keeps the connection to me between the inner and the outer, in which the outer then does the inner, and the inner does the outer. Yes, each one is in. They are connected already. Yes, 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 yeah, yeah. So the last frame, beautiful. So the last frame, when you get to Earth, Carolina, already is the connection that it brings you into the vertical extension to descending ascending. So the entire spherical mandala, beautiful. So Lois, let me give you this idea. This is an idea, because if I get you the idea in your mind, you're going to find it in your body very, very quickly. So the idea is that once you get into the sphere, right, and you are the sphere, and you are the sphere, and you are the sphere. Now, when you are in this particular moment, you want to go. You have to continue into, not in expansion, not in sun yet, but you're going to start going down to Earth, right? Now you have to change the placement of all the lower arm and the hands and the wrist. So then it creates the circle that allows you to descend down into Earth, right there. Exactly. So because you're doing it, but then you're doing it and you're trying to continue the sphere. When you are doing the upper part of the sphere, getting you from heaven to just almost to sun, is easy because you are changing the center of gravity and you are extending from above down. But now when you have to change from up to down, you will have to change the entire angle of your arms in order to suspend you to get you back into Earth. So exactly, and that will get you to the inflowing wave. Yes. So it's important for you to understand that when you get to Earth, right here, that is the beginning of the movement. That's the beginning of the inflowing wave. Okay, beautiful. I'm sorry, I'm doing it. Okay. Then I'm going to the spherical mandala. The first part of this, you want to agree that the spherical mandala is very easy at the beginning, right? Because you are in the upper plane. So easy as pie, right? Until here. From then on, very not different. But you got to change your mind, because if you follow, you're going to create weight. So you have to follow the planes of the upper part in order to balance the below to get into Earth. Now, in this moment, Lois, in this moment, you see right here, that's the beginning of the inflowing wave. That's the beginning of the inflowing wave. So it's a part of you who wants to go here and then begin the inflowing wave. From Earth, you want to go here and begin the inflowing wave? No, the inflowing is in the first frame after Earth. Right there. That's the beginning of the inflowing wave. Yeah. Go, 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 go. Exactly. So you want to, there's a part of you who wants to create another movement from Earth before you start the inflowing wave. And it has to be, that has to begin the beginning, right there. It has to become the inflowing wave, right there, right there. You got it. Yeah? You know what I mean? We wanted to do this. Look, you want to go here and you want to go here and then, no, right here is the first frame that it gets you into the inflowing wave to foundation. You got it. You got it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You got it right there. Lovely, lovely, and lovely. Okay. Are you good?
Question.
Yes, question.
Does the placement of the pelvis have to do with this, this connection with the sphere?
Absolutely. Yes. The connection of the pelvis, because when you are in heaven, yeah, if the pelvis is in here in vertical extension, and the vertical extension right here, when you are in heaven, the pelvis is a little bit rotated around, just a little bit around, so you are extending through the pelvis. You are not in the pelvis in the same place, and you are extending to the outer arc. No, the outer arc engages the entire pelvis completely. So then, when you go to the spherical mandala, every single frame changes from above the relation to the pelvis. And just before you get to the connection of sun, which is in here, is when you get to be almost in the center of the pelvis, from which you are then changing a little bit into the inner arc to take you into earth,
Yeah.
and which is the harness from which you're coming back to foundation. So it's a change in your
Right. Yeah. And does the openness matter? Does this openness matter to have the legs open like that? Or I mean, I'm just trying to sense where the center is for me.
Well, what happens is that once you begin to define the centering of your legs and the floor, right? Your feet, the knees, the centering of the floor is your feet and your lower ankle through your feet, the lower leg and the upper leg through the knee, the center of your upper leg to the pelvis through the hip joint. So once you get that connection, it's more or less stable through this inner arc, because you're doing it seated.
Yeah, I see some people like this, and I see some people like this. So I'm just trying to sense what you feel is open in the hip.
Yeah, but I want you to feel that open, what open means is a directional relationship. Directional relationship. In the beginning, you think that opening means that you're going to open the knees more or more to close the knees up.
Right.
It's a corresponding relationship that creates a line of connection that corresponds to the center of your hip. It's a line just like your arm. The line of connections of your arm is the ray of the heart. This is the ray of form. This is the ray of space. The ray of space, the ray of energy, of feeling, the ray of the heart, yeah? And then the ray of form is in connection to your legs. And you're beginning to feel it, because there's a relationship in which the line becomes defined inside of your own sensation.
Yeah.
So you're not pressing down or closing.
Yeah.
It is a very subtle, because what happens is that your feet, when they're in the floor, you may say, oh, I see, just the adjustment of your arches is lifting the energy through the hips into myself. So it's not so much structural, even though sometimes it is, but you are changing the relationship of the moving segments as you're moving from above all the segments of your arms and changing the center of gravity.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit more difficult. It's a little more difficult for me when I'm sitting sometimes, when I'm standing, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's very important, because when you're seated, what you're discovering when you're seated, excuse me, the best is, it's good for you to think about it. At any one moment, you can move your leg, and then what you discover is that the placement of your feet and your arches determines where your solar plexus, your chest, the throat, the head, and the crown are.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The floor is just as much as important as a space as in connecting you. Remember, in here we said connecting through space. The floor is connecting you to a space constantly.
yeah,
Not a space without form.
yeah.
We-
Yeah, that's much, I mean, because I can see where I begin to press down or back.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I need to bring something to show you. Something very important. I'm bringing this just to show you something that is going to help you to
Okay.
create. If we can create an image in your head, in your mind, your body will follow. If we cannot create an image of your mind, if you cannot create the image of your mind, it may take time because the muscles will have to interconnect to awaken the image and the mind.
Yeah,
Now, if you're trying to awake the image and the mind through the body, it's okay, but it may take time because the body doesn't know how to use a space. It only knows how to use the body.
right,
But then the mind knows how to use a space.
right,
I'm sorry that I'm separating both, but it's not.
right.
Once the mind get the image, that's it. You can really, the body will follow because then it's the mind that creates the awareness that you think you're using to understanding me.
Mm.
Your mind creates the awareness that you use to think that you're understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
So once your mind begins to understand that you're just, we are in this enormous misunderstanding that is becoming understood when the things are together, and then you can create very easy a change, instantaneous, because you understand what that is.
Yeah.
So let's say I am in infinity, right here. And that's the connection to space, right here in infinity. And now when I'm descending, the connection keep moving, space keep moving me through me. And now when I get to this point that this space have to change a little bit before me almost. So then space, the relationship to space is supporting me to make the changes for me to get the connection. So if I just follow me, if I'm creating weight, I cannot tell the difference that I'm creating weight. But if I begin to find the planes, then I said, oh, the planes are suspending me in a space. Exactly, Carolina. And now the change have to occur a little bit drastic because you're going wonderful. There is, once you pass the horizontal plane, it's a little bit drastic because gravity changes in that plane. Remember, we have some, it's not the same. So you have to let me see, glide with the lower segments of your body, so the upper segments can use the gliding to gravity, like you're swimming in a space. In reality, you're swimming in a space all the time, right? A swimmer will be like going to find out, like cutting this one and going that one. Once you begin to find the angle in which you're moving in the water, the angle will push you in it, right? If the swinger just going up and down like that, it will be all right, you're swinging, but you don't get to use the actual momentum to propel you into the water, yeah? So the same is with the air. Air is the same, it's all existent, air, space. So once you find the angles in space, the angles will get you into where you're going and send you constantly in space. So then you get to be in the pleasure of your own integrity in which you're being done by the movement.
right. So you're just becoming more accurate with your body and the planes of space.
The planes and the directions of centering of yourself in the plane of a space conceal within themselves your truth, yourself, the real self in you. Without those two angles to support you, you have yourself, I mean, my own impersonification of myself could be wonderful, could be in between, or could be terrible. Well, it depends. If it is just, if I'm really happy and I'm coming from a very wonderful world that everything is perfect, it's wonderful. If I'm in between worlds, it can be very complex. And it's terrible if the 3 pieces of myself are a little bit not completely integrated, because then my mind and my feelings and my body are constantly trying to get me to some place. And every time I get there, sometimes I get there, sometimes I'm not get there. And it's very complex and everything is mysterious. And the doctors say that I have mental illness. That's what it is. Is that my mind cannot come together with myself.
Yeah.
So anyway, those 3, each of us are releasing all that because the consciousness is helping us completely. But now if we begin to understand it, it makes it much more easy because the principle is already there to embrace us and dissolve the idea that we have about who we are and give us a larger picture of who we are. But
Yay.
the picture is much larger than who we are. But we don't know what that is, you know what I mean? So that once we begin to get into the program, said, oh, I see. What I thought I was is really nice, it's all right, my family, blah, 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 blah. But who I am is totally different. And if I want to change anything in my life, I have to change the way that I sense myself, because the way that I sense myself is what recreates the same story all the time. So I got to change the energy, and then everything changes because the world is directing me to where I'm supposed to go. No, where I belong, not the place where I'm supposed to go. The world is, the life in the world is directing me to where I belong. Because each of us belong to the place that everything is effortless and beautiful and wonderful and perfect. And we are already moving with everything. We are not in this other world and everything, la, 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 la. No, we're already in this other world, completely free. So that's what we're doing together. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Wonderful. Bravo.
But we didn't get very much into it, but we got to clarify.
Oh, are you kidding?
Oh my God.
We really got it.
We got to go to the place of spirit. Gathering the way, yes, we got to go.
We did a lot.
We did a lot. Yeah. But anyway, I think that you are engaging. We are engaging, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
You have engaged us.
We are engaging. Getting married every single moment. Life is a marriage every single moment. You're wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
So, okay.
Bravo.
Fantastic. Had the most fantastic time. Everybody did wonderful. We're doing wonderful. Yeah, we're doing wonderful. Thank you for helping
So
me.
good to see all of you.
Love you. I'm
Love you
saying
guys.
Yay.
thank you. Bye. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Beautiful. I'm